All right, the doc's in. We're talking about joint pain.
Yeah, so what we were saying before break is that all of these little minor traumas that seem like no big deal throughout your life sort of add up to lead you to be in especially for your joints and your body to feel and be in the shape that it's in today. And so it's not age, it's just that there's all of these little injuries built up over your life, and that adds up. And when
the body truly does take a beating, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yes, absolutely it does. And, in so many ways, not just in physical traumas, but stress traumas, emotional traumas, all of that stuff adds up to your body.
Too many Saturday nights?
Yeah, all of that, for sure. So what we're discussing is how you can put yourself on a correct pathway to be healthy and functional years into the future. So my program called Arthritis, Fire in the Joints, has 4 steps that you can do to make sure that we're doing everything you want for many years into the future. And so if you're middle age and are already having joint problems, you really need to rethink the direction you're going with your future life. Or if you're already older and suffering with what you were told was permanent joint problems, or if you were told you needed joint replacements, you really need to come see some of these new technological advances that we have in the program. But here's my point with all of this, that the chance to turn this around before it becomes too late is now. You don't want to end up with a disabling health crisis down the road, because I can tell you this. If you've ever seen someone that's living in a health crisis much younger than they should be, it is a very sad situation. Someone that still has a lot of years left, but their body has just broken down way before time. Not a happy thing. And so I call it the tale of 2 lives. So one individual is 65 years old, living the golden years, happy, gardening, playing tennis, jogging, walking with friends, golfing, whatever they want to do. And the other individual is 65 years old, bound to a walker or a cane, maybe struggles just to go check the mail at the end of the driveway, or has trouble bathing alone, pretty much confined to the inside of the house with chronic joint pain. And so the pathway that led each of these 2 individuals to these separate places in life didn't happen when they were 64 or 63. The pathway that led them to where they ended up started at 50, or maybe even 45, or maybe even much earlier than that. So how you are going to end up, what you are going to be able to do in your older years is those pathways are being chosen now at 40, 45, and 50. So it's very important that we sort of see our future health and our future retirement ability to do what we want and trace that back to where we're at in today and what's going on with our bodies and what we're prioritizing with our bodies today. So my program is all about how we can turn this around now. No matter how severe your joint pain is, my program will show you simple solutions that you can do at home. Now, which, by the way, the reason that I always mention joint dysfunction and arthritis together is that they go together. In order for a joint to develop arthritis in the first place, it first usually has years of dysfunction, meaning that it isn't working right or it's under stress for some reason. If a joint's working perfectly normal, it generally will last our entire lives. But when a joint becomes dysfunctional, that's when it starts to break down. So only by discovering the underlying reason the joint's dysfunctional can we truly come up with a solution for the future. So in other words, you didn't get arthritis for no reason. Your joints are not deteriorating just because you're sort of unlucky. There are very specific reasons joints deteriorate. And so we're going to show you the reasons and show you how to stop it. For example, I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Most knee arthritis is a result of years of a lack of alignment of the knee, of the bones above and below the knee. A joint is a simple hinge joint, just like the hinge on this door here we're looking at. And so if that joint becomes out of alignment, that would be like the door hinge that's hanging off to the side. It would never work right, and it would wear out early. So your knee being out of alignment could be from collapsed arches in the feet. It could be from some sort of pelvic torquing of the thigh bone. But it's a simple hinge. And if it is out of alignment from the bone above and below, that's when that joint will develop arthritis. So when I talk about joint dysfunction and arthritis together, what I'm saying is those two, one causes the other. Arthritis is caused by joint dysfunction or alignment in some way. So arthritis.
So all those young people who are twerking on those YouTube videos, get ready to hurt later.
So the thing about arthritis, it has many names. It can be called spurs, joint deterioration, degeneration, thinning of the discs, bone on bone. Which, by the way, that's kind of one of my pet peeves. That bone on bone thing. I hear that so many times. I've heard that so many times over the last 18 years. But in the last 18 years, I've never actually found one that was bone on bone.
It's probably just a crock.
And so, I'm not saying it never happens, but I hear that term used all the time. But we must actually measure the spacing between your joints in millimeters to know how severe it really is. And this is all part of the program that I'm going to show you as well. Now, another neat thing about this is that we use a technique called motion study radiography, which what that means is if you have a joint that, remember, is dysfunctional and remember it's deteriorating, so motion study radiography is about taking an X-ray while those joints are moving under gravity and under their full range of motion. So if I take an X-ray of you and I tell you lay still and not move, I've taken the two most important factors out of joint function, gravity and motion. And so how joints move is critical to what's going wrong with them. So this has allowed me to discover so many missed joint problems from traditional X-rays and diagnostics. MRIs, CT scans, hospital X-rays, what's the first thing they tell you? Lay down and don't move.
Be still.
Yeah, lay down and don't move. So if I take a joint that's designed to stand up and have gravity and motion, and I take gravity and motion out of the picture, doesn't it make sense that I might not get the whole idea of what's wrong with that joint? Joints are designed for gravity and motion, so why take that out of the equation when diagnosing joint dysfunction? So this is just one of the remarkable advancements, and I'm going to show you next Thursday night. I'm going to show you actually some motion study radiography, and you'll be able to see. You don't have to be trained in X-rays to look at something and go, that's not working right, when you do this kind of common sense diagnosis. So I'm running out of time today, but I hope that
it sounds like we're all running out of time. I was listening to the show and I thought, well,
but joint deterioration.
It's gonna be long, Deb.
Joint deterioration is. Joint deterioration is something that we
$9 into one.
Yeah. Hopefully you get to the second one, right?
Oh, golly.
But joint deterioration is something that we're all developing, and that we really need to take action to deal with it before you end up, with a replaced knee or, listen, I see patients all the time that come in that have these sort of problems way before their time. So it's important, it's serious. Whenever you have to come into the room and look somebody in the eye and say, listen, I'm sorry, this joint has to be replaced. I wish I could have got to you 10 years earlier. It's a serious situation. It definitely.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
When does somebody turn old? I mean, really, truly, when is the body supposed to start giving out?
Well, nobody really knows that for sure. In my opinion, I think in the 70s, things should start going downhill a little bit, slowing down.
Okay.
I think in the 80s, you start to get where things get a little bit touch and go. But I think we all ought to break 90. I think that should be commonplace at this point. And that's actually happening. More people are reaching 90 than ever before. But when we start breaking down at 50 and we've got two replaced knees and we limp around and, with walkers and quad canes and all that.
Scars everywhere.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to prevent. The fact that we are all living longer than ever means that we need to take care of the pieces that we were given. We need to take care of our joints and of our body.
Yeah, because you can't go to Pep Boys and get another one.
That's right. So it's an important thing. And so people need to know out there that if you're suffering with arthritis or deterioration or joint pain, you wake up stiff or sore, or you walk a little crooked here and there. You get up, you grunt too loud when you stand up out of a chair. All of these things
got a hitch and you get along.
Yeah. All of these things are the earlier we can address them, the better.
I don't even have a horse anymore.
Yeah, agreed. So if somebody wants to come to the seminar, they can just call?
They do. And, a lot of this is real hard to explain here on the radio.
Mm-hmm. I think you've painted a pretty good picture.
Well, I really need my charts and my graphs and all that to really explain the details in the program. Some of that doesn't make for very good radio. Charts and x-rays make terrible radio.
Yeah.
Wait, I just got a text from my dear friend Obi Hewlin from Hewlco Printers and Hewlco T-shirts and Hewlco Sign and Design and everything. I mean, he owns half the world.
Is he serious, or I'm afraid to ask?
Did you get the text?
I
just got a text. Obi, he says, I'm sitting in the doctor's office listening to y'all. Could you please turn it down? Oh, no, could you please tone it down?
Tone it down. Oh, yeah.
Tone down for what? Okay. All right. Yeah, I forget. A lot of doctors' offices listen to this. I can only imagine people sitting in the waiting room. Yeah. We sorry, y'all. We gonna play all about that bass in a minute. Oh, no, I love shows like this, Doc.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
so listen, all of you are invited. If you want to come and see this remarkable new program, you can call 837-7174 to register. It's going to be at the Hilton Garden next Thursday, March 12th. We moved it. We tried to call everybody. If we hadn't got a hold of you yet, you were registered for tomorrow night. Don't show up. It's going to be next Thursday. We moved it. So due to the bad weather, 7 p.m., the number once again is 837-7174, and the program is called Arthritis, Extinguishing the Fire in Your Joints.
All right. Dr.
Thank you, guys.
Wellness Wednesday on KTDY.